Hi guys, today's video I'm going to be showing you the brand new, it's the Dior Velvet Veil. This is one of two primers that they have just released and they are both on the Dior US website. So I got the Velvet Veil as that is, well, it's supposed to be more of a mattifying one as opposed to the other one, which is supposed to give more of a radiance and luminosity to the skin. So I thought this velvet one would suit my oily skin better. So the new primer comes in this glass bottle and the velvet one has the frosted glass. This has 30 mils of product and it is made in France. And just like their foundations and the other products with similar packaging, it just has a pull-off lid and a pump dispenser. And the other primer, which is called the Forever, that is the Glow Veil. That one has clear glass instead. Now this has a slight tint to it. Dior refer to it as a universal tint to suit any skin type. And on their website it has someone with very light skin and also has a photo with someone with very dark skin as well. So the consistency of this primer is not overly thick, but it's not runny either. It's somewhere in between. So I've just put a pump of it on the back of my hand and that is what it looks like. So I was really interested to try this primer out because this year I bought the Tom Ford, it's a Traceless Soft Matte Primer, and I really like that one. That's quite a mattifying one. And I also picked up the new Hourglass one as well. That was earlier this year. That is a really beautiful primer as well. So I was interested to see how this one compares. The formula is different to the Tom Ford one and also the Hourglass one. This feels more like a moisturizer. It does feel beautiful on the skin and it does give a really lovely base to your makeup. Now I've worn this quite a few times. It's now summer here in New Zealand, so the weather is a lot warmer, and this afternoon while I'm videoing this, it's actually very warm and quite hot in this room, and this primer has worked really well. Of course on the Dior website it says it works even better with the Dior foundation. They would say that, but I have tried this primer with other foundations that I have as well, and the foundations that I have used it with all work really beautifully with this primer. So what I'll do is I will put a pump of the Hourglass on my hand as well, or just a little bit of the Hourglass one. This is the newer Hourglass one. This is the Vanish Airbrush Primer, and I think this is really, really lovely. And I'll also put a small pump of the Tom Ford as well. So here are all three of them together. So this one at the end here, this is the Tom Ford, and that is it's more thicker. This one here in the middle, that is the Hourglass one, and here we have the new Dior one. So my skin is pretty shiny at the moment because not only is it really warm in this room and a hot day, plus I've got oily skin, but I've also just recently applied just some more sunscreen as well. The one that I use is a Japanese sunscreen. It has quite a lot of moisturizing ingredients in it as well, and that's why I look shiny. So I'll just go through with you a few of the claims that Dior say about this primer. One thing to note about it is that it does have alcohol in it, and I also had a look at the ingredients in the other primer as well, the Glow one, and that has alcohol in it as well. Now they do refer to this as a mattifying primer, and they do say that it has 24-hour wear. It visibly blurs pores, and I would agree with that. It does give a really lovely finish, similar to the Hourglass one that has a blurring effect as well. They say it evens and smooths and enhances your complexion. So this primer also has quite a few skincare ingredients in it as well. And then, like I was saying earlier, they say that the tint in this is a universal shade, and they say it is infused with floral extracts. It is a matte, shine-free makeup finish, and they also say that it prolongs makeup wear. So 3 of the extracts that they refer to that's in this primer, there is an iris extract, a wild pansy extract, and also a rosehip extract as well. And this primer does have a fragrance to it, just like the foundations as well. It's a very nice scent. It's a floral type of fragrance. I think it is quite subtle, but then some people are more sensitive to fragrances and scents in makeup than other people. I think it's quite lovely. I think not only is it subtle, but I think it dissipates quite quickly as well. So I've just wiped those other two primers off my hand, the Tom Ford one and the Hourglass, and still left with the Dior one, and it's still just the one pump. So now I'm going to put this on the left side of my face, and I just dot it on, and then just like with my other primers, I just apply it with my fingers. So even though it has got that tint, it doesn't really seem to give any colour, I don't think, but it does smooth my skin out. As I was saying, I think it's very similar, even though the formula feels quite a bit different. The effect that this primer has is pretty similar, if not identical, to the Hourglass one. So that's just with the left side of my face done, and compared to the side that is actually very shiny, it's still a little bit shiny in my face, but it has taken a lot of that shine away. And even though it says that it's mattifying, it doesn't feel like it's really dried down. The description of this primer is right when it says it's a velvet, so it is just a really soft finish. And I would say that they are correct in their description, that it does give a smoothing effect to the skin. And also my pores, I don't know whether you'll be able to see. I'm also going to show you what this looks like in natural light in a minute. But they are smoothed out. And that's exactly also what the Hourglass one does as well. This is a really lovely primer. So compared to this side, the pores on this side of my face, because they're quite enlarged here, but it's definitely hasn't taken them away, but it has blurred them out compared to that side. So now I'm just going to pop into the lounge where I've got natural light, and I'll show you what it looks like there. So I'm in my lounge area, and in front of me I have a really big window, and to the right side of me as well. I also have big windows to the left of me, but I've got the curtains across because it's in the afternoon and the sun comes in there, so I've got to keep those curtains closed. So there's plenty of natural light. So this is the side that I've just put the Dior primer on, and I'm looking in the monitor, and it does look really, really lovely. And this is the side where I haven't applied any. So this side is still quite a bit more shinier than the side here. Now I still have a glow to my skin, and that's why, even though they say it's mattifying, and that's why I said you don't really get that dried down effect, and I don't really like that in a primer anyway. I like a primer that mattifies, but I like one that has this type of finish, so it smooths things down, takes away quite a bit of the shine, but you haven't got that flat matte look. But when I look at it in the monitor here, it looks really, really lovely. And it is so hot today. When I walked out of the room, I think I've started sweating. It's really, really warm, and it's really warm in the lounge here. So those of you that have oily skin and want to know how this performs in the warm weather, it performs really, really well. So now I'm going to go back into my room and put the primer on the other side of my face. So now with what's left of that one pump of the primer, I'll just add it to the side of my face now. And after I've done this, I'll do all the rest of my makeup off camera and then come back and show you what it looks like. The foundation that I'm going to use today is a Dior one. It's the Dior Forever one. It is the matte foundation, and that is in the shade 2.5N. But all the makeup that I will be putting on my face today, and all the makeup that I have on when I come back and show you how this primer looks under my makeup, all of that will be listed and linked in the description box below. So now that it's all on, I didn't put any under my eyes. I don't tend to put primer under my eyes. So now the side, the pores are more blurred than they were before. And that shine, because I'm pretty shiny, as I was saying, because it's very warm, especially in this room. That has been taken down a lot. I've still got just a glow, but nothing excessive, and that's why I'm saying it's not that flat mattifying type of primer at all. It won't look like that, but what it does is it smooths and it does help prevent excess oil coming through. So now off camera, I'm just going to put on the rest of my makeup and then I'll be back. So it's been about an hour since I was last talking to you, because I put on the rest of my makeup and then I had a couple of other things to do. And as it's getting later in the afternoon, it is getting hotter and hotter, and it's really warm in this room now. I think it's now come that time of summer where if I need to do any videos, I need to do them early in the morning instead of late afternoon. But getting back to this primer, so I've been doing a few things in the house, and it's pretty easy in this hot weather to start working up a sweat, and it's holding up really, really lovely. Now, it's not going to be bulletproof. If I went outside and did even more, some physical work, I probably would get quite a bit of shine coming through. Not only is it hot, but then I've got the oily skin as well. But I do think that the primer gives a really beautiful finish. Now, out of the three primers that would probably be my favourites now, including this new Dior one. So there's the Hourglass, the Tom Ford, and the Forever Velvet Veil one that I'm using today. Out of the three, I'm really not too sure which is my favourite. Out of the Tom Ford and the Hourglass, probably be the Hourglass would probably be my favourite over the Tom Ford. But then if I'm wearing a foundation that hasn't got a velvet or soft matte type of finish, and in this warm weather, then I would tend to use the Tom Ford primer because it's the most mattifying out of this one and the Hourglass one. This one I would put on the same level as the Hourglass. I think it gives the same beautiful finish that the Hourglass one gives, and I really can't decide between the two which one I prefer more. As I was saying at the beginning of this video, they are different formulas. I feel that this one goes on a little bit more like a moisturizer type of feel than the Hourglass one, but they both feel really, really lovely. This one has a scent. I think from memory, the Hourglass, I don't think that does have a fragrance. If it has, it's certainly not like the Dior one, but as I was saying, this is quite a subtle scent and I can't smell it now. And quite soon after I've applied it, I can't smell it either. So it is quite a subtle scent. So really, between the two, the Forever Velvet Veil and the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer, I'm not too sure which is better. What I probably need to do is do a side-by-side and see which I prefer. But I'm not sure whether I would see much of a difference. But if any of you are interested in seeing a video with these two primers side by side, then I'm more than happy to do that. And if I get time this week, I may just put up another video showing these side by side. There are so many people that have bought the Hourglass this year and absolutely love it. I recommend this one too. So it really comes down to preference. If you're anything like me, I'm always on the lookout for new primers, even though I find something like this and it's absolutely gorgeous. You never know, another release might be just that much better. I wouldn't say that this Dior one is that much better than Hourglass. In fact, I would say they're really almost the same. They give that really beautiful finish to the skin. This one does have the tint, the Hourglass one doesn't. I don't know whether that really makes any difference, especially once you've got all your foundation and makeup over the top as well. But you can see, as I was saying, it's so hot in this room. It really is warm. I'm dying to finish this video so I can go out and just find a cool breeze somewhere. So I really need to cool down. But you can see how it is holding up. Considering my skin is so oily, really, if I wasn't, well, you saw my skin at the beginning of this video and how shiny and oily I was. and now I've been talking, what's probably been between 5 and 10 minutes, and when I'm in this type of heat, my oil starts to break through really quickly, and I really can't see any of that happening. There might be a light glow, but certainly nothing like my skin was at the beginning of this video before I put the primer and my makeup on. So overall, I think this is a really lovely primer, and I'm glad that I've picked it up. If I've missed anything or you've got any other questions, just let me know in the comments below, and if I can, I'll be more than happy to answer the questions that you have. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.